We're launching this very special shoe tonight. Only 300 pairs are going to be sold worldwide, and half of them are right here in Santa Monica. So in a little bit, we're going to be able to find out who gets what, but for now, let's talk about the shoe. The Jordan Comfort 11 is a casual tribute to the iconic Jordan 11, or as us sneakerheads know it, the 11s, celebrating the introduction of carbon fiber to the Air Jordan series. For a few lucky people out here, a custom-built and lasered carbon fiber box will be rewarded for years of loyalty. So, cut that up. Let's cut that up. Now, everybody here, you know, because you're here, I suppose you guys know what Soul Collector is, right? Y'all don't know what Soul Collector is. I mean, are you sure? All right.
We just want the fucking shoes. Hurry up.
In 2003, Soul Collector's first magazine was created, and shortly after that, they began partnering with Jordan. For issue 7, Soul Collector released their first ever all Jordan issue of the magazine. And since then, the yearly Jordan issue has been the most anticipated edition each year. In addition to the great print magazine, Soul Collector also thrives online. So, did you know that Soul Collector's online forum just this past week celebrated its 10th anniversary? It's 10 years. 10 years, man. Shout out to all who's on the forums. The forum is also the largest such sneaker forum on the internet, with over 200,000 members. So that's some of y'all, but hopefully some of y'all. Tonight, we're also launching issue 34 of Soul Collector. Their 250-page ultimate issue that also celebrates Nike's great history of sneakers. Every single Air Jordan is in that issue. So, you know, for the first time, the magazine is available also in a hard copy. The softback copies include an exclusive Jordan Comfort 11 cover that's only available here. So, both versions are for sale downstairs tonight only. All right, guys? And and just so you guys know, they're signed by our guests tonight. So, you guys better go check that out. So, yeah, let's bring out the creative genius behind the shoe up to the stage. As a VP of Special Projects at Nike, Tinker Hatfield. Tinker Hatfield has earned global recognition for his imagination and innovation in his collaborations with Michael Jordan for the Air Jordan line in Nike. In 1998, Fortune magazine named Tinker one of the 100 most influential designers of the century. So, in addition to working with Michael Jordan each year, Tinker currently creates specialized Nike products for champion athletes, including Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Roger Federer, numerous track and field athletes, and many others. So he also spends most of his time mentoring young Nike designers and helping build the Nike for the next future. So without further ado and without me talking too much, let's bring out Tinker Hatfield.
Dick ride.
Crazy out there, right?
You're Tristan, right?
No.
TV stuff.
So, first question for everybody. What is your relationship with Soul Collector?
Well, I've known Steve and Nick, the two. Well, Steve in particular, probably the longest. I've known those guys for a while, and they've been such passionate promoters of sneakerology, not just sneaker collecting, but the whole, I guess, art and science of understanding about design in shoes and personalities and athletes, and so it's been a nice relationship, and it's grown over the years, and they've done such a great job. I don't know if you all read the magazine, but I think it's just the best one out there. It's beautiful. Every issue is just made with care, so we've got a great relationship. Thank you. Give him a hand. Give us all.
Yeah.
We put a lot of work. I don't think these guys actually sleep at all. I don't think they.
They didn't look like they slept. Especially driving from Portland.
Look at them. They don't look like they slept.
Okay, so how did you get your start with Nike, and what has it been like designing at the brand for 3 decades?
Oh, yeah, I was afraid you were going to bring that up. Well, luckily for me, I grew up in a sports world, a sports background, and I was an athlete, and I went to the University of Oregon and ran track, and that's where Nike started, actually, up in Oregon. And it wasn't just about running or just about track, it was about athletes and sports and then and good design. And I went to architecture school along with running track, and it was really an interesting and fortunate combination of backgrounds for me. So I could design, I could draw, and I was an athlete, and I could sit down and talk to other athletes and kind of understand what they were going through, what their needs were. And I guess unfortunately I picked up a little bit of style sense along the way. I don't know how, I don't know why, but anyhow, that's really my background. And so when I came to Nike, it was just a perfect match for me, and I've had a great time for a long time.
Wow. Okay. So the Air Max 1 and the 11s are two very, very iconic sneakers that you've made, and they're the inspiration for tonight's shoe. Can you talk about designing the Air Max 1? You know, it was the first Nike shoe with visible air.
Yeah, Tristan, thanks for asking that question, because this is the first time I've ever actually talked about kind of two shoes at once. But let's start with the Air Max 1. Like you said, it was unique in its day because of the visible air window. But more than that, it actually was what I thought a nice step forward for the sneaker business in general, trying to sort of step out of just being normal and being utilitarian and actually bringing something else to the party. So the Air Max, I was working on that, and at the same time I was working on the Air Max and trying to develop the Air Max window. I don't know if any of you have heard about the inspiration from the Georges Pompidou Center in Paris. It's a building that was built basically in the 1970s that basically turned itself inside out, and you saw it was the first big building that was all glass, but all the air conditioning and the elevators and the escalators and everything were all on the outside. And it was sort of like just flip-flopping the way you design a building. And I guess I was inspired by that and thought, well, you should actually show the technology in a shoe. And so that's how the window got developed. So that's the first part of your question, right?
And yes, and of course, you know, the 11s, perhaps arguably the most famous Jordan out there of them all. So what inspired you to introduce both patent leather and carbon fiber?
Well, first I was going to mention that the guy who was supposed to design the very first, or the very early part, very early Air Jordans, I should say, left Nike, and I ended up getting to design Air Jordans from the 3 up until pretty much today, although there have been a few I haven't done. But the 11, actually, of all those shoes, is my favorite one. And the reason I like it the most is partly because it has patent leather and made out of nylon and has a carbon fiber shank and some of those things that had never happened before. But it was also designed, believe it or not, when Michael Jordan was retired. And he kept telling everybody he wasn't going to come back to basketball. And Nike wanted to stop the Jordan line. And they didn't want to do any more Jordans because their thinking was, if he wasn't going to play basketball anymore, we wouldn't even be able to sell Jordans. And I disagreed with that, and even though the people higher up than me tried to stop me, I didn't stop. I kept doing it, and I kept working on it. And thank you. And that's why I like this shoe so much. It was not only innovative because of the carbon fiber, which kind of came from football cleats, you know, both soccer and American football, and then the patent leather was actually an idea of Michael's. He didn't really know about patent leather so much, but he wanted a shoe that was shiny. He actually wanted a shoe that was shiny for about 3 years before that, and I could not really figure out the right kind of material and how to use it, because really every time we do something with one of these shoes, we want them to be performance-oriented first. And that's what helps drive the style. If it works better, it also just tends to look more purposeful and look better. So anyway, that's how the shoe got designed. MJ was all excited when I brought in a sample and it had this patent leather on it. And he said, the first thing he said was that he couldn't get a word out. And and he was like, he was searching for these words. He goes, the real first sentence he said is that